the country's security. Joining us now, Edward Schatz, professor of political science at the University of Toronto. Thank you for your time. Let's talk a little bit about what's going on. So this was sparked on New Year's Day when fuel prices almost doubled. There's since, as I understand it, been some kind of a cap put in place. But tell us what's behind all of this.
Well, right. The immediate spark was this rise, a sudden rise in fuel prices, a particular kind of fuel used by drivers in the western part of the country. And it generated a local protest that quickly became national. And so what we've seen is protests engulfing the entire country. And it taps into wells of resentment and grievances that people have been harboring for years about economic insecurity, elite-level corruption, and that have morphed into calls that are quite clear now for a change of political system, really.
And let me ask you about the leadership, because it's been pretty much the same leadership party really since its independence, or since it was left the Soviet Union 30 years ago. Tell us a little bit about the current president who took over, I guess was handpicked by the previous one.
That's right. No, the first president of independent Kazakhstan was Nursultan Nazarbayev, and he governed for the better part of 3 decades, and has some signal accomplishments to his name, and especially in the 90s and in the 2000s. But the problem was that the luster wore off by about 2011, if not a little bit before. And young people especially started to wonder, what has Kazakhstan done for me lately? There was a bit of a sort of a tacit social contract in which they would, accept constraints on their freedom in order to have material prosperity. And Kazakhstan is oil-rich and energy-rich in general. But that bargain, at least the regime, hasn't lived up to its end of the bargain. So what we've seen is the promise, which was that any Kazakh could become comfortably middle class, has not materialized for most people. And that came to a head really under the leadership of the incumbent president, Tokayev, starting in 2019, who has tried to hew himself closely to the Nazarbayev style of governance, but is just deeply unpopular when Kazakhs are really ready to turn the page to something new and something more promising for their futures.
And tell us about Russia's role in this and its wanting to continue its influence.
Right. So Russia's role is quite interesting, and in a way disturbing, sort of on the considering what's happening elsewhere in post-Soviet space. This was until a day or so ago a purely domestic kind of affair, and now it's become something entirely different. Russia was invited by the embattled President Tokayev to as a part of its military defense alliance, to send troops to try to bring back some kind of order, because there is shooting, there is looting, there is rioting that's happening, especially in the city of Almaty. Now, what this means, it remains to be seen. The claim is that this is a temporary sort of mission, that the idea is to restore order, that Kazakhstan's sovereignty will be respected. But that doesn't appear to be likely, given the history of Russia in its in neighboring countries.
And certainly, as we'll be watching this very closely as these protests continue. Edward Schatz, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.